I always thought I was odd for not having an opinion on which boy was hot. Asexual people, at what point did you realize you weren't attracted to either sex? You know that feeling you get when you're hungry, so you look in the fridge but can't find anything you want to eat. So you look in the cabinets and drawers for something to eat, but you still don't find anything? Like no matter where you look there is nothing to eat? That is what a sexually aroused asexual feels like. I think this is a great question because it really is freaking confusing. As a teenaged boy, I was mostly gay. Zero interest in women, besides the gossip, and I was very interested in bromance. The twist was that I had, and have, absolutely no desire to see them naked. In fact, just seeing a willy or thinking about gay sex was a total turn-off. Worse was the fact that I definitely did still have the libido of a pubescent boy, but nothing to point it at. Thanks, life. I finally settled on the term asexual while still in high school because, lamest of all reasons, I found it in the dictionary and it sounded right. I had to first use the word when my best friend, a girl, started to get overtly flirty with me. I didn't want to hurt her, so I knew I had to be honest, so I told her all about being asexual. I worried about being a poser asexual for a long time because I definitely liked men up until a point. I suppose I'm a homo-romantic asexual if I need a quick way to explain myself. Now I live as a gay man, but make no secret about my asexuality. I'm engaged to an amazing man of such a caliber that I never thought would want me back. Out of love for him, I've practiced at becoming okay with the sex that he wants, and I'm apparently doing very well so far because he's the one who proposed. Get dat ring, grr. It took a very long time before I realized it, because you grow up just kind of assuming you are normal. Kids talking about what celebrity or actor is the hottest? I don't really get it, but just play along. Kids start kissing, dating and getting crushes? I don't care about that at all, but there are lots of kids like me who haven't had a boyfriend or girlfriend yet, so I'm pretty normal. Never go to dances or go out with anyone in high school? More unusual, but I'm an honor student or dork. People like me not having dates isn't that uncommon. I'm not 100% sure when it really dawned on me that I was different. That I wasn't just unpopular but that I never had a crush or really felt lust or cared about sex. I don't know if you'd call this asexual, because I have felt romantic attraction toward women, and I can find situations arousing, like I do have kinks, but I never really cared about sex, and genitals do nothing for me. Penises don't bother me, since I have one, so I'm used to them, and vaginas can be cute at best, but a lot of them look kind of gross. Boobs are okay, but I feel the same way about nipples that I do about vaginas. As far as when I realized this, I don't remember any definitive moment. I do remember a friend in middle school joking about a girl offering me to let her touch her anywhere I want, and me poking her in the eye. I never thought about it. I always assumed that I would have sex in the future and enjoy it. And then I was reading stuff online about asexuality, which led to me learning about aromanticism, no romantic attraction. Which led to me concluding that I was probably asexual and aromantic. So, I'm a 27-year-old female, with diagnosed Asperger's. I'm doing fairly well socially. About asexuality, I dunno. I never got interested in boys, nor in girls. When I was entering puberty, all the girls and boys started to freak out about these sort of things, and it baffled me to no end. I mean, seriously, you care about that? I could not comprehend how exactly hanging out somewhere just to be seen or teased by boys could be interesting. Come on, there are books to be read. Going to virtually all-female high school was a blessing. It was an art school, so 90% of the guys were more or less gay. I entertain the idea of sex, or being in a relationship, I just don't really see me fitting into one. I personally like to compare having sex to eating meat. I see the appeal, I understand why most of people do it and need it in variable amounts, but I just find it nauseating. I was happy to become an adult and decide to give up eating meat, as much as I'm happy that it isn't 1950s and no one forces me to get married. My friends are extremely tolerant folks and no one really asks me if I'm seeing someone. I know that my asexuality irked a few guys in the past, though I realize it after some years, but I can't help it. I reckon I may be aromantic, as they call it, but gee, I don't know for sure, and frankly, what's up with all these labels anyway? I just can't tell if a guy is flirting with me until 4 years later, really. I actually had a sexual encounter. Once. And I was even crushing a bit on that guy back then. We just sort of fooled around, because I was very drunk and I had no idea what to do. I was just happy to mark it off my to-do list, To be frank, just like skydiving and seeing Mona Lisa, once in a lifetime is just enough. It took a while for me to realize I wasn't attracted to either sex. It was a few months ago when I saw a post on Reddit about being asexual and having a fetish. It was very confusing at first, but as I read more about asexuality, it made more sense to me and described me perfectly. I soon started identifying as ace. I do get aroused. I do have a fetish and get aroused by that. Besides that, I get aroused randomly and over nothing. For example, I will be playing Pokemon and get hard. No reason whatsoever. It is rarely over anything I see or do. I just get aroused randomly. Growing up, I always thought I was odd for not having an opinion on which boy was hot. I'm perfectly capable of understanding and appreciating when someone looks good, but that unfeeling? Never got it. I'm 34. I've been married twice. I've had my fair share of sex, everything works so to speak, but I've almost never been the one to initiate. If nobody else initiated, I didn't care. It didn't bother me. I didn't see the need for it. All this time, I assumed it was something wrong with me. I'm perfectly capable of becoming aroused, so why didn't I get this basic concept? Why didn't I have that need? I blamed it on depression. I blamed it on anxiety. Later, I blamed it on a bad relationship, or weight gain, or stress. There was something broken. I didn't know how to fix it. About a year ago was the first time I'd ever heard the word asexual referring to a person, and not unicellular critters. About 6 months ago, it finally clicked that it didn't matter if all the parts are in working order, the owner wasn't interested in hiring someone to operate it. It cost me a relationship, this realization. While I was disappointed, I wasn't angry or upset. I can't fault someone for wanting or needing sex in their intimate relationship, and as he wasn't a raging butthole, he didn't fault me for not wanting it. I do, on occasion, enjoy reading fluff or smut, or viewing pics of people I find aesthetically pleasing. Should I find it necessary to do something about any arousal after, I take care of it. And I don't miss having another person part of it at all. I'm probably going to be a crazy cat lady. I was raised in a religious home, so I didn't think much of it to begin with. No one questioned why I didn't date, because I was being a good Catholic girl in their eyes. When I got older and friends started being sexually active, I started to wonder why their point of view was so different from mine. When I left the church and religious doctrine, my desire for sex never bloomed like I assumed it would. I realized it wasn't a belief that was drilled into me. Something was different. The whole sex craze bothers me to a degree. Penis, vagina, it does nothing, and when you're bombarded with sexual content and jokes everywhere, you start to feel really alone. My brother got angry when he realized I wasn't sexually active and I was now 19. He accused me of thinking I was better than others because I didn't want sex. This was the moment I decided I needed to find others like me. When I explained I'm asexual to one partner, he told me they would go with me to the doctor to fix me. I got really hurt by this. My libido is just fine, and like the others here have said, it just doesn't have a target. It doesn't help bring a plus-sized girl. Everyone assumes I call myself asexual because I can't get any. But any girl, no matter what size, can tell you the same. If I wanted it, I could have it. My family refuses to accept me being asexual. I have a bisexual brother who is accepted, but every time my sex life gets brought up I'm told, "You haven't found the right person." They can't comprehend that this isn't about finding some white knight prince or right person, it's about a lack of desire which isn't from some brain disorder. For me, it wasn't so much about realizing that I was asexual as it was about realizing most people actually do want and need sex. I thought nobody actually cared and that it was just expected of people to act as though they wanted it. Then in high school, it struck me that that wasn't the case. Ever since then I've identified as asexual. I do, however, feel romantic attraction. I would love to find someone to spend my life with, but I always feel like there are more important things to be doing, so I've never gotten around to actually looking for anyone. As for sexual arousal, I'm not sure what to say. I do get erections from time to time, but I never feel I need to do anything about it. The idea of having sex or masturbating just seems gross to me. I think I've always known it. I've never really felt any urge to have a romantic relationship of any kind, even before I really understood what it was all about. Most other little kids wanted to play families and hold hands. I wanted to keep on climbing trees and reading books. Physically, everything functions normally, but I don't get spontaneous sexual urges. The only relationship I've had was pretty much an experiment to see if I'd enjoy sex and romance if I tried it. I didn't find it unpleasant, but I didn't find it worth the effort either, and we split up on good terms. I guess technically I've known since I was 14. Everyone in my friendship group was getting interested in sex and I just wasn't interested at all. I discussed it with some of my friends and they just said I probably hadn't met the right person yet, or was too young to know. All of the conversations were turning to who was sleeping with who and who my friends wanted to get into the pants of, and it was just so alien to me. At first I thought that the girls must be faking it, just to please the guys, that my lack of sexual attraction was normal and that girls didn't want sex in the first place, everyone was just playing along. And then sex had happened and it was established that everyone was going to start having these feelings soon. I remember feeling really broken and confused because even in college I still wasn't having this sexual attraction towards people that my friends, and seemingly everyone else on the planet, was experiencing. What made it even more alienating was that I'm romantically attracted to both men and women, so I'm not aromantic. I was getting crushes, falling in love with people, but still never had any desire to make sex a part of my relationships. I had several relationships in college with people I really loved and got on with and figured that maybe my friends were right. Maybe I just wasn't ready yet and in time I'd get interested in my partners sexually. This never happened. I'd occasionally do sexual things with my previous partners to make them happy, but I always felt distanced from it all. When this was happening, they were experiencing a different type of desire and attraction to what I was. I didn't mind it, but honestly it just made me feel not as close to them emotionally, because there was always this part that I couldn't experience or be a part of. January 2012 was when I finally gave up and started identifying as asexual, rather than just not found the right person. I came out to my boyfriend at the time and told him I'd understand if he didn't want to stay with me anymore. I'd be happy to go back to being friends. He took this opportunity and I don't really blame him. I think it'd be difficult for me to be in a relationship with someone who wasn't romantically attracted to me, the same way it must be hard for people with sexual attraction to have a girlfriend who's not interested in them sexually. I think coming to terms with it was difficult, but I feel so much more comfortable now that I've accepted it. I'm in my last year of uni now and in 2013 met the most amazing person, who is also romantic, asexual. We have amazing chemistry, get on really well, have similar interests, and it's just so nice to be able to be this close, snuggle, give massages etc., without there being any misunderstandings that any of this will lead to sex. It just feels so much more comfortable and right this way. If you'd asked me 2 years ago I'd have probably said that asexuality feels like a curse and I'd rather be like everyone else, but now, I'd say I'm much more okay with it. As far as arousal goes, all the plumbing works the same as everyone else. It's difficult to explain without ever having experienced sexual attraction, but I guess, I don't see a good-looking person on the streets and get turned on by them is the best way to describe it. I'm not interested in porn, seeing genitals, my partner naked etc. unless it was to be closer snuggling-wise. My libido is almost non-existent, except before that time of the month when I have a low libido, which I'm guessing is related to hormones. Either way, it still doesn't make me want to go have sex with someone. I'd describe it more as an itch, really. Masturbation-wise, I don't really feel any huge need to do it, so it's more of a boredom or relaxation thing. I could do it every day for a week and then go 3 months without doing it at all, so not really important to me. But yeah, I wish it'd be mentioned even a little in sex ed or something, because reading through Reddit, it looks like I wasn't the only one who felt lost and broken at first. Thanks for listening to Radio TTS. Hit the subscribe button and activate the bell notification for more eye-opening videos. And let me know in the comments what your opinion or experience on asexuality is. Are you an asexual? Are you driven by hormones? What is your story?